I should really wear my glasses to do this. I can't see that far. Who do I think I am? Hello! So today I'm doing something I'm actually really excited about. Today I wanted to talk about The Fountains of Silence by Ruta Sepetys. This is going to be spoiler free because I didn't write notes because I didn't feel like it. So I'm just going to be going over some things. If you want to read it, you can. If you don't want to read it, you're missing out. But you don't have to, you know? So I got the arc of The Fountains of Silence at BookCon, and I was actually really hesitant to read it because I read Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys probably like 2 years ago, 3 years ago maybe. Whenever it came out, and I was so excited for it because there was so much hype. Everyone was loving it. It was a historical fiction. So excited, so let down. I don't remember what I didn't like about the book, to be honest. It was so long ago now, but I was really a message. I don't remember what I didn't like about it now because it was so long ago, but it just really it disappointed me because I was so excited for it, and then it just really fell flat for me. So I was hesitant to pick up The Fountains of Silence because it sounded great. It's a chunk of a book, like it's a perfect size of a book. It seemed right up my alley, and I was like, don't let your expectations get too high. And yet, my expectations were still exceeded. I should just start off the review by saying, even though there were like little problems with the book that I'm going to talk about, I overall loved this book. I flew through it, which is amazing because my reading has been really all over the place for the past year. I try so hard to read, and then it just really doesn't always work out. So to get excited about a book like this again makes me so happy. So The Fountains of Silence takes place in Spain in 1957 under General Francisco Franco's regime. And I mentioned in my TBR video, I'm just like leaning back, just like chilling. We're vibing right now. I mentioned in my TBR video when I talked about this book that I had never learned about this part of Spanish history. I had never even really learned about the Spanish Civil War. This takes place right after the Spanish Civil War, but there is still a lot of information about the actual war. In general, honestly, I just learned so much from this book, and that's something I love about historical fiction, is that you really can learn so much through a work of fiction. That's amazing. So it follows 4 main characters: Anna, Michael, Rafa, and Puri. Michael, I don't know why I keep calling him Michael. His name is Daniel. He's the main character. I don't know if I keep calling him Michael throughout this video. I don't know where that even came from. His name is Daniel. I don't know how to review. I don't know how to read. Is from Texas, and him and his family go to Madrid, Spain for some oil business plan with Franco. Some shit. He's living at a hotel. Anna works at the hotel. Thus, they meet. This is my representation of them meeting. Rafa is Anna's brother, who also gets very involved, and then Puri is Anna and Rafa's cousin, who also gets very involved. She works at an orphanage that kind of brings the overarching plot together. That's something that's actually so interesting about this book, is that the biggest plot twist thing at the end that happens is that something that actually happened in Spain and is a huge part of Spanish history. It's just, you get to the end and you're like, this is crazy, and then you get to the author's note and they're like, well, obviously you kind of already figured it was real, but then you get to the author's note and she's talking about all the statistics of this thing being totally real, and then you're like, holy shit. It's just... Speaking of plot twists, I'm not going to talk too much about plot twists because I am one of those people who hates when people say, oh, there's a big plot twist in this book, because that's such a spoiler. And then the whole time I'm just like, is this real? Is this fake? Is this real? Like, it ruins the experience. However, I do kind of want to touch on it just a little bit. There are a lot of plot twists in this book, you could say. Just a lot of twists and turns, basically. I love when there's little mysterious, like, Easter eggs placed throughout the book, and you're kind of like, what does that mean? What does that mean? Like, what's happening? And there's like, oh, this build up, right? There's a lot of those in this. There's one thing that did annoy me, and that's that one of those little Easter egg things, one of those little pieces of mystery that's going on, just like a side plot type of thing that, here's where it gets confusing. In the beginning of the book, it doesn't seem like it would be a side plot aspect. It's kind of the forefront of this character's mind. And then throughout the book, you don't hear about it again. It's in the beginning and then it's gone, and then at the end it comes up again and you're like, oh, I forgot that existed. And then it's just like, oh, well, here's the conclusion to that thing, remember, from the beginning. And you're like, oh, I kind of forgot about that thing from the beginning, but okay. At the same time, it was like really drawn out. Like, it was from the first few pages to the last few pages that you find out about this. And the way I was thinking about it was, it's like when you're waiting for the beat to drop of a great song, and then at the last second, the DJ just mixes in a whole different track to kind of, oh, I'm quirky, and then everyone's just kind of annoyed because you're waiting to go hard, right? It was like that. Where was the beat drop? It was just so glossed over, I feel like. So, like, in one sentence, they're like, oh yeah, that was this, and you're like, what the okay. But at the same time, that was still supposed to kind of be a plot twist, and then this is the other issue I kind of had, was that it wasn't really a plot twist. It was kind of very easy to see coming. In fact, there's actually, like, a few plot twists, I feel like, throughout this, like, plot twists, where they're so easy to see that I don't know if she meant to make the plot twists or kind of just, like, fun little twists and turns throughout the book. I just realized I never really gave the plot to the book. I kind of just started going off about plot twists. I always forget that, that's a loud truck. I always forget that because I don't like knowing the summary of books, that other people do like to know the summary of books before they go and purchase them and read them. So I will do my best. So the main character of the book is Daniel, and Daniel is living at this hotel while his parents are kind of doing their own business in Spain. Daniel's a photographer, and he's trying to win a photography contest to get into this really nice college. And while he's in Madrid, he wants to kind of take advantage of that and get amazing pictures that no one else in the States is gonna get, and he's gonna win the contest, right? Well, while he's there, he realizes that Spain just got out of a huge civil war. The country is still reeling, especially Madrid. There's still so much going on, there's still so much darkness surrounding everything, especially under this dictatorship. So he kind of finds this new story to photograph. That's something that's really interesting about the book, is that you're seeing it through Daniel's lens, and you're watching him tell this story and uncover all of these truths through his camera, and it's amazing. It's fascinating. It's also really interesting to picture these photographs in your mind as they're described to you through writing. It's fascinating, honestly. So while he's living at the hotel, he meets Anna, who has all of her own dark, dangerous things going on. He meets Anna's brother, Rafa. There's another character I love, Hugo. I love him. And then there's Anna's cousin Puri, who works at the orphanage, and they all are finding their own clues, and they're all in their own ways involved in this mass kind of conspiracy that they're trying to unfold. And obviously there's a lot of danger involved and a lot of side plots involved. Like, you're never bored. You're never bored. There's always things going on. There's always things you want to know that keep you turning the pages. It's so interesting. Everything about this book is so interesting. The book, even though it is very plot based, it's also so wholly character driven. Characters make up so much of, they just make up so much of the book. You get so involved in them, and something I really loved is that they're so absolutely unique. All of them are so individual, and I feel like in some novels it's really easy for the characters to kind of blend together personality-wise, and that wasn't the case at all with this. One of the things I really loved that I noticed was that for all the POVs, everyone's point of view, one of the things that was really interesting was that for Puri's, there's a lot of rhetorical questions, and I was like, why are there so, because I remembered in like writing classes they were always like, don't ask questions, don't put in rhetorical questions, blah blah blah. I noticed all of them. I was like, why is she doing this? And I realized it's part of Puri's character. Her whole internal conflict is about, I'm a woman, am I supposed to keep my mouth shut? And then also, I'm so curious about everything, I have so many questions about everything, so that's why there's so many questions, because she's so inquisitive. And I was like, oh my god, like, amazing, amazing. These smallest things fascinate me. But you just get so involved in the characters, and one of my favorite things in books or movies or anything is when you start out with a character that you so strongly dislike and you do not trust, and this is obviously a bad person, and then by the end you love them, and they're your whole heart, and there's like 2 of them in here. 3 of them if you want to count like a little side character. Like, it just really great. On top of all of this though, I was also able to learn so much about Spain during this time and this dictatorship that I I knew really nothing about, even though I've been in history classes my whole life. I never really heard about it, and it was just crazy to me, especially considering that the United States had so much involvement with Spain during this time, which I also had no idea about. There's also obviously a lot of Spanish in the book, but there's a whole glossary for every Spanish sentence that is said. But the thing is, my Spanish kind of came back to me, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't studied Spanish in a minute, but I've been speaking it on and off since I was 12, I think, and it was just kind of, it was cool that, like, I'd be reading it and these Spanish all the time, like, all the time. Spanish sentences or words would come up and I'd be like, oh, like it would just be like I was still reading English. And it was, like, a really weird experience, because then I got to the middle of the book where there was, like, a sentence I didn't know, and I was like, oh, Spanish. What does this mean? And then I kind of had this, like, out-of-body experience where I was like, Bridget, half the book has been in Spanish. And I was like, so yeah, that was kind of cool. I think I kind of want to, like, download Duolingo again and, like, relearn Spanish. Because this made me realize, like, I didn't forget as much as I thought I did, which is, like, kind of cool. Has nothing to do with the book, but that's, like, a me thing. So, anyway, I ended up giving The Fountains of Silence 5 out of 5 stars, even though there were, like, little things I didn't like. They were really all plot twist driven, I guess, the concerns I had about the book. The writing was fantastic. I loved the characters. I loved the plot overall. It was really just those little things that I just felt like some were unnecessary, some took away from the overall plot, but, like, not enough to take down a star, to be honest. Like, I finished the book and I couldn't believe it was over. I was so upset. So I know this was just a quick video, but I just really wanted to talk about this. I really wanted to recommend it because I loved it and I want to read Ruta Sepetys' other books now, which I never thought I would say back in whatever 2017 when I read Salt to the Sea. So I had to look on the back to remember what it was called. So anyway, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!